So, this episode is part of a 10-ish message series commemorating the 10-year anniversary of when I first started my business back in the spring of 2013. Each message features a lesson or a story or something worth noting, a theme worth anchoring in from that particular year. Some are more life focused, some are more business focused, some cover lots of time, some cover very specific moments of time, and there's absolutely crossover because time travel is a thing in this retrospective mode where hindsight's 2023. Know that I would genuinely love to hear your feedback, any insights or questions that come up as you're listening, and I'm absolutely open to requests for future episodes to go deeper on any specifics that you'd love to hear more about. Just take a screenshot and tag me at Nikki Elledge Brown as you're listening, or hit the link in the comment box in the show notes and let me know. All right, here we go. And that brings us back to dough. And by dough, I mean the present. And by the present, I mean April 2023 at the time that I'm recording this. So 10 years after the first official biz activities of my own naptime empire. If you've made it this far, either just in the podcast series or life in general with me, thank you. It's been quite tricky for me, at least, to recap a year of lessons in 15 minutes or less. It's been a challenge, but we did it plus or minus an episode or two. All of these have actually made it within the 15-minute timeline through Voxer. And truly, each episode could spark a handful of spinoffs. So do let me know if you have any lingering questions or open loops. I know I actually opened a lot of open loops that I didn't close, and not intentionally. I wasn't doing that to hook you. I'm speaking in chaos and not completing my sentences or my stories sometimes. So if you caught any of those open loops that you would like me to close and circle back to, please let me know. And then just a bit behind the scenes meta perspective here, I want to note that I had some serious resistance in recording this series. I was so inspired to do it. And then when I actually started recording it, I did the first few episodes and bam, Cootie Camp remix. I was solo parenting. My kids had strep, flu, tummy bug, all the things. And then even when I did actually have energy, let's be honest, if I had time to be watching my shows on Netflix or reading other people's books, I had time to record, but I had internal resistance. And part of it was just my inner rebel who doesn't want to be told what to do. And so having very clear prescriptive topics can be more challenging for me, because otherwise I like to just get inspiration from life and then record it in the next opportunity that I have. So there was a little bit of that. But then also, this was a bit of a healing practice for me, because facing the music of the whole decade all together, which actually reminds me of this episode on the Wayne Dyer quote about not dying with your music still in you. And I'll link to it in the show notes. But the gist is life is playing, the music. We're live. We're live. You're not going to die with this music still in you because you are playing music. What's the tune? What's the beat? What's the jam? What is your life demonstrating that you care about? What have you been up to? It's not like you fell off the face of the earth, which is what I felt like and often said. It's like I fell off the face of the earth, or I'm hiding from the internet, or whispering into a closet or whatever. And I was so harsh with myself for so many of these years because I had such a flashy, at least in my own world and experience, it was a big deal. The way that my business took off the way that it did, it changed the trajectory, even though then everything slowed down just a few years later. But it was a big deal at the time. And so I was judging myself for everything else and not giving myself credit for my values shifting the way that they did. And I absolutely speak to this in the Naptime Empires book. But being able to look at this period of time, I encourage you, if you've listened to mine, to consider your own, just to look at the last decade of your life. What would your themes and patterns and lessons be for each of these years? I feel like it's a powerful thing we could do at the end of every year. And it's worthwhile because, of course, hindsight's 2023 in this case. But, it's like we can make more sense of it looking back and maybe put a little order where there wasn't at the time, where we didn't see it. And so it just has really helped me see the journey, connecting the dots and collecting the divine breadcrumbs in this way. It's been a beautiful way for me to see how each season was preparing me for what was to come next and what was to come next. And in many ways, I'm a very, very different person than I was 10 years ago. And in many ways, I'm totally the same cheesy word nerd, chasing big dreams and tiny humans. And as much as I fought or tried to rush it at times, I am deeply grateful for the time and space that I was able to take to slow down, unpack, deconstruct, reevaluate, and redesign life for what I want it to be in this season as a mother of 3. My husband now, actually, spoiler alert, has a new job that he loves. We realized that what we once envisioned as the dream, we got to experience it kind of like with the RV, but on a different level. And we realized that's actually not the dynamic that we want for ourselves, for our family, and for him as an individual. Like, he's got so many talents that he wants to share beyond our household, and he's doing an amazing job of it. And it's actually, well, I'll tell you that maybe in another episode, but it's working out. It's very interesting, the parallels between our lives now and 10 years ago. Like I said, they're totally different in some ways and also so similar. But I can't compare myself, or at least it's not fair to compare myself now at almost 38 years old as a mother of 3 to the 28-year-old mother of 1 who's building her business in the glow of the laptop while the world is sleeping and her husband's across the country or under the sea. It's a different life, and I love it. And I was able to co-create it, and I'm so thankful for that. Business may have grown slower than I at least thought that I wanted it to, but my kiddos are forever growing faster. I've learned so much. I've had so many inspiring conversations with friends and family and clients and coaches of my own, many lessons of which I have documented here in this podcast, in the Naptime Empires podcast, many more to come in the Naptime Empires book. But really, it all just comes back to that visual of the recycle emoji, the lazy Susan of highest values of self, fam, and biz, because at times focusing on physical presence with my family has been the absolute most important priority. And at times, I was just craving creation and connection through my business. Hello, batching and getting that first draft out, or picking it up and being like, I'm going to rewrite the whole book, doing the edits now, let's create a new container for clients, trimester of awesome. And then at times I just truly needed to focus on rest and healing, mentally and physically. But my intention for now, moving forward, is to integrate all 3 in a shorter time and space horizon. Meaning, instead of taking months in or out, to complete that loop each day, have that little pillow talk headboard meeting with myself at the end of each day. I'll link to my podcast on that, and I'll also talk more about it in the book. But just checking in with myself to know that on the days when I have a more steady spin rhythm of the lazy Susan, where I have a bit of business creation and wealth building time, and I have a bit of family time with my kids and connection with my husband, and I have a bit of me time to do whatever the F I want to do each day, those are the days when I feel most myself and most present to every part that I'm showing up for. Hashtag on her terms. So I cannot wait to share the book with you, maybe even a bit before. Maybe we'll do some teaser chapters before it's actually ready for publishing. So keep on the lookout for that. Stay tuned here with the podcast and also the Naptime Empires podcast. Make sure that you're subscribed for email updates as well. I just love looking forward to and imagining the conversations that we're going to have once this book is finally out of my hands in Google Drive and into your Kindle and into your earbuds and in your hands physically. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you take a selfie with the picture. So working on the book is my main creative focus going into summer 2023. And I'll keep you posted here. And also, I do have some capacity for clients behind the scenes. You can just tap the link wherever you see it, workwithnikki.com, to apply and tell me more about what it is that you're looking for. I really see all of it as creative advisory, because whether I'm helping you with your own book or a podcast or a course that you're working on, or creating a certain dynamic in your relationship, it's all creative, and I would love to support you if it's a good fit. So reach out wherever you see a link. And again, thank you for being here. My relationships, REAL relationships, are my greatest asset, the way that I see it. And I look forward to going and growing with you through whatever the next decade may bring. In the meantime, take care of you, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Okay, technically that was the end of the episode, but since you're still here, 1, I'd love to thank you for spending part of your day with me, and 2, I'd love to ask you if you would take 30 seconds, maybe 60, to leave a rating and review in your podcast app before you tap out today. If you've already done that, it's amazing. Please send me a screenshot so I can thank you personally, and know that sharing this episode with a friend has the same magical powers, and I deeply appreciate both. Also, in case you're listening to the end to see if I ever actually introduce myself, hi! My name is Nikki Elledge Brown. I'm the host and author of Naptime Empires and this here On Her Terms podcast. You can find me around the internet at Nikki Elledge Brown in most places, but what you may appreciate most is actually over at onherterms.com. It's what I call the insider library. It's where you can get inside scoop, first listen rights, email updates every time there's a new episode, and then special insider only bonus content. It's all over in our private feed. Okay, that's a wrap for real. I'll meet you in the next episode.